Have you ever found yourself in the middle of a conversation, feeling like a spectator rather than a participant? Or perhaps you've thought that social interactions are nothing more than an absurd performance you'd rather not be part of. If you've ever questioned the purpose of human interactions, this video invites you to explore that thought more deeply. Arthur Schopenhauer, the renowned philosopher of pessimism, unveiled an uncomfortable truth. Most people play a role in a grand theater called society. They wear borrowed costumes, paint their faces with rehearsed smiles, and adjust their gestures and tone according to a script they never wrote, one carefully outlined by unseen, powerful forces. Each social interaction becomes a calculated scene where authenticity is sacrificed at the altar of acceptance. They don't act this way out of loyalty to themselves, but because they've learned to chase approval as if their existence depended on it. They struggle to fit into imposed molds without questioning whether that's the role they truly wish to play. But in the end, an inevitable and unsettling question arises. Approval from whom? From a society that changes its expectations like the wind? From an audience barely paying attention to the spectacle? Schopenhauer invites us to look beyond the curtain and ask whether it's worth living as a prisoner of a collective illusion. How many times have you found yourself trapped in dull conversations just to maintain social etiquette? How many times have you forced a smile at an unfunny joke, or felt that every social gathering is a rehearsed dance, a choreography of interests disguised as kindness? In a world saturated with appearances, an inevitable question arises. What is the price of so many masks? Schopenhauer argued that intelligence and social life are like oil and water. They don't mix. The deeper your perception, the more absurd the play seems, where so many act without ever questioning their role. You see the carefully adjusted masks, the lies dressed as politeness, and the fragility of a stage where everyone seeks validation, yet no one truly knows from whom. Society has been skillfully designed to keep us busy, entertained, and far from deep reflection. We are surrounded by distractions at every turn: bright screens, trivial conversations, imposed expectations. Everything is orchestrated to prevent us from looking too closely, to stop us from questioning the script we've been given. But when you pause to think, when you dare to silence the noise and truly analyze the spectacle, you begin to notice the underlying incoherence in everything. You realize that the ties that seemed firm are actually fragile, held together by superficial interests and empty routines. The words filling the air float weightlessly, devoid of real meaning, mere echoes of what others expect to hear. And that constant effort to fit in, to follow the rhythm of a borrowed choreography, reveals itself as a silent act of self-betrayal. Because in the pursuit of acceptance, you stray from yourself, becoming a shadow of what you could have been. Here lies the real dilemma. When you gain the clarity to see beyond appearances, you also become aware of the profound solitude that clarity brings. As your thoughts deepen, you start to feel disconnected from everything around you. This disconnection, which allows you to see things as they truly are, does not go unnoticed. In fact, it makes others uncomfortable. They look at you with the unsettling feeling that you are not part of their frantic theater of illusions. You do not get swept away by the current of mediocrity, nor do you join their dance of conformity. Your presence, in its stillness and reflection, becomes a mirror that reflects what they prefer to ignore: the fragility of their own certainties, of their bubble built on the lie of conformity. And that, of course, is unbearable for those who choose to live in the comfort of illusion. Solitude, as Schopenhauer wisely noted, is the destiny of truly brilliant minds. And although at first glance this idea may seem like a burden, it actually holds a profound and liberating freedom. Because when you begin to value your time more than the approval of others, you discover a powerful revelation. True peace of mind is only found in the stillness of solitude. It is not a punishment nor an abandonment, but a privilege reserved for those seeking something far greater than the banality of everyday interactions. In solitude, there is space for genuine introspection, a place where the mind is free and can finally embrace its authenticity. At first, solitude feels like a punishment, a heavy absence, but over time it becomes an unexpected refuge. In the quiet, in that space where everything pauses, you find what society tries to conceal: inner peace. All the noise that surrounds us, from endless notifications to empty conversations, exists only to keep us distracted and disoriented. And it is in that deep silence where you begin to hear your own voice, a voice that drowns when we blindly surrender to the expectations of others. What happens to those who fail to understand this truth? Those who believe happiness exists only when they receive external approval. They live trapped in an endless cycle where every photo, every story, every word is meticulously designed to provoke a reaction. A like, a comment, external validation. The harsh reality is that if your well-being depends on the response of others, you will never know true freedom. You will be nothing more than a shadow of what others expect of you. And that, far from being freedom, is an invisible prison. True freedom appears when you stop depending on external validation. It is in that moment that you allow yourself to be genuine, to follow your own path without seeking approval from anyone. Here lies the crucial shift. When you dare to be yourself, without fear, without the need to fit in, regardless of the judgment of others. True authenticity has a magnetic power because, while everyone seeks what is real, few dare to embrace it with courage. Schopenhauer did not choose to distance himself from society out of resentment, but out of wisdom. He understood that by stepping away from the daily noise, he could observe reality with extraordinary clarity. Social life is saturated with predictable behaviors designed to keep us trapped in an unquestioned system, and many become prisoners of that routine. But those who manage to distance themselves from external clamor and find their own path through introspection are the ones who truly leave a mark. They understand that real power does not lie in escaping society, but in mastering the art of knowing when to engage with it and when to withdraw with a lucidity that few possess. At its core, life is not about fitting into the mold others have designed for you. It's about discovering what truly resonates within you, being faithful to your authenticity, and following that path, even if it means walking alone. Because, as Schopenhauer rightly pointed out, solitude is not a sentence. It is a privilege reserved for those brave enough to embrace it. It is in that silence, in that detachment from external noise, that we truly discover who we are and where we are headed. I leave you with this reflection. What will you do with what you've uncovered? Will you continue chasing the illusion of fitting into a society that silently demands your sacrifice? Or will you dare to be truly yourself and walk the path only you can forge? If this message resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we can continue exploring deep topics together. Give it a like if you enjoyed it, leave a comment with your thoughts, and share your opinion. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. And if you think this message could reach someone who needs it, don't hesitate to share it. Thank you for being part of this community.